YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back today. Got the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers record prediction for the 2021 season, going game by game, giving my prediction, and then we'll do worst and best case scenario. Doing this for every single team. We got a playlist on the channel with all the videos and a few more to come still. We're getting close to doing our playoff predictions, Super Bowl predictions, and more. We'll have player rankings heading into this upcoming season. So really excited about all that. Please smash the like button, subscribe. Make sure you follow our Twitter for constant NFL news, and we got polls for you guys, deciding videos. So, yeah, check it out. Be much appreciated. But playoffpredictors.com, that's the website we're using. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, defending Super Bowl champions. We all know, of course, it's very tough to repeat, but they're very capable of doing it because I do think this is the best roster in football at the moment. I do think that's a big reason why they won the Super Bowl last year as well. And we saw them, I guess chemistry was a little bit of a question last year, especially when they were losing. They didn't look right, looked a little sloppy. Even games they won early on, they looked pretty damn sloppy. We saw them, I think they played the Falcons twice late last year. I think one of those Falcons games, the second half of the first one, I believe it was, they kind of feel like they finally clicked, late in the year. And I think that was the turning point there. And they were even getting better. They struggled with Washington in the first round of the playoffs. They really got better along the way. And that kind of says a lot about this year. They're finally clicking. They still got guys that are kind of their new faces in a way to that team starting last year. So they actually could develop and continue to get better than where they were last year. So that's pretty ridiculous as well. And I love adding Joe Tryon. I think that, kind of changes things up for their pass rush a little bit. They have the capabilities of using 3 pass rushers at once and dropping one in coverage. Tryon has that ability, so that experience. So, guys like Winfield stepping up, getting better. Devin White, hard to believe, but he could get better. So I really like this roster. But it's always tough to repeat. So we'll see. Week 1, Thursday Night Football, Cowboys, Buccaneers is a great game. People forget how good, especially on offense, mainly on offense, a fully healthy Dallas Cowboys team is. People kind of forget that. So we expect Dak to be good to go. We expect Tyron Smith, Leo Collins, Zach Martin, all those guys to be healthy out there. We know they have a good receiver unit. They got a pretty good running back unit. So that'll present the challenge here for the Buccaneers defense. But on their home field, fresh off the Super Bowl, Thursday Night Football to open up the season, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I do think the difference is their defense. Either way, they're able to game plan, take away kind of Tyreek Hill in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Very good, well-coached defensive team, a very good defensive team. But again, a challenge playing the Cowboys offense, but I think they'll slow them down enough, while the Buccaneers offense, they just shouldn't really have too many problems against the Cowboys defense. I do think the Cowboys defense is going to be much better than last year. It's not saying much, but I do think they'll be much better. But I think it'll be tough to handle the Buccaneers here in Week 1. First game of the year. It's going to be fun. A lot of fun. Falcons, Bucs. I'm going to go with the Bucs here. Falcons still adjusting. It's kind of a big question how the Falcons defense will be. I like bringing in Dean Pease, and they had moments of the defense look good last year. So that's kind of tough to figure out there. But again, they'll be kind of back and forth again like last year, where 1 week it's, they got a lot of work to do. 1 week it plays pretty well. I like the Buccaneers better on both sides of the ball in this game. Bucs, Rams, definitely a great game here. Matthew Stafford, Rams, so new look Rams. You expect him to be healthy. The Rams be fully healthy at this point of the year. Week 3. I remember the Rams in primetime gave Tom Brady specifically some struggles, 3 interceptions. That defense really gave him some problems, mainly disguises in the coverages, in the coverage back there. Brandon Staley, defense coordinator, is gone, but I still think we can see some similarities. I think the Rams defense presents some problems for them, so not going to completely stop them, but they could slow them down. Now the Rams have Stafford, in this powerful, explosive offense, where they also could put more points up on the board. I think here in Week 3, I think the matchup sides towards the Rams, so I'm going to go with them. That's definitely a game that can go either way. Bucs, Patriots. Brady versus old team here. I did the Patriots video, and I did pick the Patriots. Kind of had a feeling here that, Belichick's defense knew how to kind of slow down this Brady offense, maybe create some turnovers. Definitely a low-scoring game. It's kind of a gut feeling when I was picking the Patriots in the Patriots video. If the Patriots would win this game, I'm gonna stick with that. Matchup really doesn't side with really either side here. I do think the game plan could win the game. I think the game plan of the Patriots kind of knowing what to do against the Buccaneers here could be the defense, but could be the difference. But the Buccaneers defense could also be the problem. So they dropped 2 straight. Maybe that's a little bold. I'm going to go the Bucs here. I guess why you could argue the Dolphins, they do create turnovers. Could they create some turnovers on Tom Brady, and that could be the difference? But I like the defense for the Buccaneers, against a young Tua here. Not much of a running game going for the Dolphins either. I got them over the Eagles here. I got them over the Bears. The Bears did beat the Buccaneers last year. The Bears had a pretty good performance in that game, especially defensively. One of the Buccaneers' sloppy games last year, an insane amount of penalty yardage. So I think that's kind of the game where it's a little different. They look a little different. We already saw them look different than that later in the year. So I'm going to go the Bucs. I had the Saints beating around. The Saints gave them some problems, especially game plan matchup problems in the regular season games last year. Now it's Jameis Winston revenge game. The Buccaneers could just create a whole bunch of turnovers in that game. I'm going to go the Saints. I think Jameis gets revenge, and the Saints have the game plan matchup for this game here. Bucs and Washington. Washington presented some problems for them as well. Last year in that playoff game, it was probably a winnable game. Except the Bucs did kind of have control pretty much that whole game, but it was a winnable game for Washington. That it's a heavyweight battle of the Buccaneers offensive line versus that defensive line of the Washington football team. I think they're very similar on defense, top tier defenses here, and the difference is the Buccaneers offense. I still trust that more. Remember the Giants played the Buccaneers in primetime last year, and they had control of that game for a bit. We thought the Giants could win that game. They played a very, very good defensive game against the Buccaneers, and we expect the Giants on paper to be better. Can they be better on the field as well? So they actually could best the Buccaneers. That was another one of those sloppy games for the Buccaneers where they definitely got a lot better since then. Home Monday night. I'm gonna go the Bucs, but that could be a good game. Bucs and Colts. Another pretty good game. I think, one that could be a defensive game. I like these veteran – Colts got a good defense, but I like these veteran, knowledgeable quarterbacks against that Colts defense. Seemed like those ones had success on recognizing coverages. The Colts ran a lot of cover too, and as soon as they started to realize what they were running, the good, smart quarterbacks were able to hit that whole shot. We'll see if the Colts run similar defenses, but schemes as last year. I think they will, but yeah, and I also think the Buccaneers defense can create some turnovers on Carson Wentz. Go with the Buccaneers. I actually had the Falcons getting one on the Bucs too. They played them pretty well last year at times within those games late in the year. Different system. I think a little more success from the Falcons offense this year. Defense is still growing, and they grabbed one on them. I'm going to go the Bucs over the Bills. I like the matchup for the Bucs, especially at home. Two very good offenses, two very good defenses as well. Whoever gets more pressure, I think it's gonna be the difference in this game. Who can throw the quarterback off a little more? And the Buccaneers, I trust their pressure unit a little more. Saints 2-0 the Bucs last year in the regular season. I don't think they do it again, but it's possible. I'm gonna go Bucs in this one. Bucs Panthers. Yeah, could the Panthers get one on them? It's possible. I'm not a huge Sam Darnold guy. I just like the Bucs on both sides of the ball a little better. And I have them beating the Jets, and I have them beating. They play I hate when that schedule happens. They play the Panthers twice within 3 weeks there. I'm gonna go the Bucs there in crunch time. They're gonna start heating up around here. So I got 13-4 here for the Buccaneers. It shouldn't really be a surprise that they're around this range. We can go back and look. If you look at each game, the Buccaneers with their roster, with their talent, their experience, their coaching, they're very capable of winning every single one of these games. I just don't think anybody's going to go 17-0. So I'm not really going to predict that. We'll give them one back for the best case between the Rams and the Patriots. We'll give them the Patriots game. And then we can give them the Falcons game. I think they could lose. I think best case is losing 2. Maybe we can call it 1, but it doesn't have to be the specific 2. But I think if they were going to lose 2, it would probably be the most likely case right there. Worst case scenario, there's not really going to be. They could lose in week 1 here. They could lose both of these games. I say between – we had them losing that one. I'd say between the I don't know, between Washington, Buffalo, the Colts, they probably can lose one of those games. Yeah, they could. Get Washington possibly after but they got time to plan for that one and rest for some of their veterans. So maybe the Colts game. Worst case, around 11-6. I almost want to call it 12-5. Worst case. I mean, who knows, though? They had some pretty sloppy games last year. Maybe we think it's because they were still developing chemistry and some new faces. Maybe that's just it. Maybe they're a very talented but sloppy team. Maybe Brady, maybe Brady forced some things. It's weird because he still has the arm talent, the arm strength. He kind of just forced some balls in there, which resulted in turnovers. So maybe he turns the ball over too much. He was turning the ball over in the Packers game, even, in that game, the NFC Championship game. And it's very close to that game going the other way because of it. So maybe some games, maybe more than the 4 losses here, go the other way because of that. It's very possible. It's tough to repeat, but it's such a talented roster, both sides of the ball. So I got 13-4 there for the Buccaneers. Let me know your guys' thoughts. There's probably going to be people on both sides that maybe they can actually have those struggling games. They can lose more games than that. And remember, they didn't win the division last year. They didn't win the South. The Saints did. So maybe they're coming for that. They got something to prove here. But, yeah, I definitely expect this to be a contender, obviously, here. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Follow our Twitter. Link down below. It's very important. Make sure you like, subscribe. That'd be much, much appreciated there. But, yeah, it's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.